Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, it appears that our freedoms are once again back under attack. I've seen a piece in the Telegraph, which I'm going to walk through right now, and it's kind of worrying because it could be a precursor to our future, and it could stop people like you and myself talking out about certain issues. So I hope you bear with me and we'll just go and just check this out. So I think this was in the Telegraph newspaper and their headline was Bullied into Silence. Oh no, that's not right, sorry. And their headline, sorry about that. Their headline was a grandmother was spoken to by police after criticising Labour politicians online. And I made the note, Bullied into Silence by Starmer and his henchmen. So I just want to get the facts right before we start moving on, people. So it's really important because I don't want to say something which wasn't reported. Anyway, so it says here a grandmother was spoken to at her home by police after she criticised Labour politicians online for sending offensive WhatsApp messages. So in a series of Facebook posts, Helen Jones called for the resignation of a councillor embroiled in the WhatsApp scandal, which led to the sacking of Andrew Gwynn a couple of weeks back, who was the former health minister. So the 54-year-old school administrator, who was not accused for committing a crime, said she was left feeling scared to post on social media following the unannounced visit by two officers on Tuesday. And basically the WhatsApp scandal emerged around Mr. Gwynn, who was MP for Gorton and Denton, posting several messages for his Labour colleagues where he was he was offensive, racist, misogynist, he was anti-Semitic and several other things in that WhatsApp message group. So in the wake of that scandal, Mrs. Jones repeatedly posted that Councillor Sedgwick must resign from his Heaton's North seat. So all she's done is just saying that this person should resign as a result of those messages that we all have seen and read in the WhatsApp group. And in one of those messages that Mrs. Jones posted, she wrote, "Let's hope he does the decent thing and resigns. I somehow think his ego won't allow it." So I can't see anything offensive in that. Can you? I don't know. And in another post, Mrs. Jones wrote, "Not looking good for Councillor Sedgwick." So if I interpret that, I'm interpreting that as Councillor Sedgwick is possibly going to be sacked or removed from his post. So there's nothing offensive. There's nothing which is stirring up trouble or hatred in that post, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you disagree. Anyway, so two plainclothes officers arrived at Mrs. Jones' home in Stockport last Tuesday at around 1:30 p.m. But she wasn't home. And the two plainclothes officers spoke to her husband via an intercom. So obviously they didn't get into the property, but they spoke to the husband via intercom. Okay, so 45 minutes later, Mrs. Jones received a phone call from an officer thought to be the same sergeant who had knocked on the door previously. And she'd been told that the police had received a complaint about her recent social media posts. Mrs. Jones said that it was actually quite scary. It made her think that she best keep quiet in future for the rest of her life because you just can't say anything these days. She asked the police officer, "Have I committed any sort of crime? And why did you call at my door?" They said, "Someone had spoken to us about your social media posts." So someone had taken umbrage about Mrs. Jones posting that councillor, whatever his name, should resign. So Mrs. Jones asked the police officer, "If I don't take your advice and continue doing what I'm doing, will I be committing a crime?" The police officer said no. And then she asked again, "What will you do about it?" And the police officer said, there's not a lot we can do. We are just giving evidence. I'm sorry, we're just giving you advice. And then Mrs. Jones then asked, why had you come to her door within 48 hours of a complaint, despite neighbours claiming they'd reported more serious crimes? I haven't heard this. So Mrs. Jones has now raised the gate. She's raised the stakes. So the police have come to her door to question her about her asking for this councillor to resign after messages on WhatsApp. But then Mrs. Jones has countered, hang on a second, you've come to my door to talk about this issue where there have been other serious crimes in and around this area that you guys have not come out to investigate. So this is a very, very pertinent question that needs to be looked into. So why are the police investigating these random complaints when there are more serious crimes happening all around, not even being investigated? Like I've put on my channel about the shoplifting. People are just being allowed to walk into stores and just to take as much food as they want and walk out again, unchallenged, unopposed, unpunished. Outrageous. Outrageous. Anyway, so a spokesman for Greater Manchester Police said, we spoke to the woman for 6 minutes to advise she was the subject of a complaint of harassment, really, and to answer any questions she may have. No further action is necessary as no crime has been committed. We are under a duty to inform her that she is the subject of complaint. So you, the police, who we pay our council tax for, which our council tax is going to be raised through the roof come April, you are going out, spending 6 minutes talking to a 54-year-old woman about a complaint, about her saying that a councillor should resign after saying offensive messages on a WhatsApp message group. Whereas you are absolutely ignoring real crimes that are going on with people robbing, shoplifting from stores, and those could be absolutely linked to criminal gangs. You're not investigating those, but you're investigating a woman who has expressed an opinion on social media saying someone should resign. And on the comments that I've seen, I've not seen all of the comments, but on the comments I've seen nothing there that is offensive, nothing that is harassing or anything like that. But I might be wrong. So if you beg to differ, please let me know down here in the comment section. But my big gripe here is that the police should be out investigating actual crimes that are going on. Actual crimes. Shoplifting is a crime. I find it offensive. I find it outrageous that people are allowed to walk into shops, stores, convenience stores, this, that, kiosks, whatever, to take what they want, whether it's clothing, food, drink, blah, 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 and walk out again. Because at the end of the day, our costs are hiked. The stores end up closing down, so we suffer doubly. This is a topsy-turvy world we live in, and enough is enough. Enough is enough. So my rant just now, someone's going to complain and I'm going to get into trouble. Really? We're talking common sense here, people. Common sense. Common sense seems to have just gone out the window. There's no more common sense in this world we live in. Guys, stop the bus. I want to get off. Let me get off at the next stop, because common sense has just left and I need to leave with it. Honestly, let's get off the bus. Let's get off. Anyway, on this day, officers were making 203, can't say the word. On this day, officers were making 203 arrests for crimes for like assault, burglary, and rape. Really? Tackling these priorities are why the complaint was dealt with 2 days after it was reported. Really? Should it have even been dealt with at all? That really? In the scheme of things, when we have robbery, assault, and we have crimes against women, really? I don't know. And it finishes here, this comment, it finishes, it comes after a debate over the use of non-crime hate incidents, NCHIs, non-crime hate incidences, was sparked by the Telegraph journalist Alison Pearson. Guys, this is a topsy-turvy world we're living in. So it looks like anyone can make a complaint about anything, and you'll have the police come to your door, knock, 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 and they will either talk to you about your behavior, or they'll end up arresting you for something you said, which is not designed to cause an issue. It is just a comment. So, for instance, they've said on the back of what someone has said on a WhatsApp group, offensive messages, misogynist messages, racist messages, and anti-Semitic messages. They've asked for that counsellor to resign, which I think is fair and frank. But someone has complained, and now that person is up to stand before the beak potentially. What a topsy-turvy world we live in. Guys, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. Anyway, let me know down here in the comments section what you think. I'm just stunned. And it just goes to show you that there is definitely an agenda to close down the avenue for people to speak out about what they see, what they hear. We're being closed down, and our freedoms and freedoms of speeches are being shut down. And not too long from now, you won't be able to speak at all. We'll be gagged. And then what's going to happen after that? I just don't know. Guys, make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other. And guys, please make certain you come back to the next Torn It TV reaction. Guys.